Today we're going to talk about how to use Juniper PyEZ, which is nothing but a micro framework of Python, to collect specific configurations from the box and just display them quickly. Rather than just getting the whole configuration dump and trying to skim through that and find out your specific configuration, you can just use this example script to specifically pick the exact configs that you need. For example, if I want just the loopback configuration of a router, you can use this script. So just to show you what the script contains, so I have a script with the file name f1. I am using pretty much the Juniper PyZ import drivers, which is import device. There is another video on the channel that talks about how to use Juniper PyEZ to identify the last reboot reason, and I'm also importing the same module there as well. The next module that I really need is an XML, because the way in which I am trying to filter out configurations is using an XML, as you can see here, which is why an XML is important to be imported. The other things that I'm importing is getpass. We have already discussed about the reasons why we use it is to prompt for the password and store that in this variable that will be called later on the script here. Same is the story with user. So whatever username is entered here is taken, stored in the user, and then called in the script here. Now I open a list of devices in the IP file with this open command. The variables are stored in the devices and the devices are printed out. So what the script does is it gives an indication on what are all the devices it is going to connect to. Now the next thing is we just start a simple for loop for IP in devices. So I'm just defining a variable here that is looking for devices which contains the IP addresses. I'm trying to connect to each of those devices using this driver that we had imported earlier. The host is nothing but the variable IP from the for loop, which in turn is looking at the device's information. User, as we know, is taking the value stored here, and the password is taking the value stored on the password column. So then we open up a session to the device. Dev is again a variable. After that, what we do, this is the key part. So we define a variable called data. Then we call the RPC function, because the command that we are doing is filtering out XML config. That is why we are calling this template. And within that, what I'm doing is I'm saying under configuration, under protocols, I just want BGP configurations to be displayed. Likewise, under interfaces, for interface name loopback, I just want these two set of configs to be displayed. All others I am not interested to display. So that is what the script is trying to look at. And it is confirming that it has to be a committed config. The format is text. So when the script has performed, if the data is none, because this is the variable and obviously the data is going to be not none as we have data on the box, it is going to print that data in the format of text and finally close the session. So now if I start the script by calling Python version 3, as we expect, it's asking me for a prompted username, then for a password, and you can see it's printing out the devices that is going to connect through. I will scan through the script quickly. It's here. So you see it is listing out all the devices it's going to connect to. It connected to the first device and displayed just the BGP configuration and the loopback, which is all I wanted to check. Likewise, it connected to the next device. Similarly, it shows the BGP configuration and just the loopback, as you can see here. The same is the case with the third device as well. It's showing BGP configuration and the loopback. So now you can customize the script further if you just want only the loopback. So I have another script to demonstrate that. So I don't need BGP. I just want to know what is the loopback configuration across a list of devices. So that is exactly what I'm calling here. So now if I call Python 3 and the file, now what we expect is it just should display only the loopback configuration on all these three devices. And there you go. You can see that it's connected to the first device, just displaying the loopback configuration, nothing more than that. Same is the case with the second device, and finally the third device. Hope this is useful. You can use this script to customize and just pick up specific configurations that you want. Bye for now.